Not even VH1 was prepared for this one. Jasmine dropped a bomb that broke everything just as the tension between Kirk, Jasmine, and Rasheeda was beginning to fade. Jasmine brought out a single picture at what was intended to be a quiet sit-down interview, and behind it was a truth so heartbreaking and shocking that Rasheeda was rendered speechless on TV. Kirk Frost had another child. A second child with another person. Jasmine was also aware the entire time. But why not speak up? Why talk now? And why, of all times, did she decide to reveal it while Rasheeda's mother was seated directly in front of the entire production crew? It's not even close to being betrayed. All of the cast members were shocked by this public blindsiding. Furthermore, there was no stopping the secrets once they began to leak. Hold on tight. This goes beyond dramatics.s. A complete implosion. There was silence on the set. It's too silent. A producer gave Rasheeda a note after she had finished a confessional about reviving her brand. Jasmine would like to talk to you in private. Rasheeda rolled her eyes and said, "It's about Kirk." Now what? Years before, when Jasmine was the unexpected baby, she had already gone through Helen. Public humiliation, the paternity test, and betrayal. She was numb now, but there was a difference in the energy somehow. Cameras were rolling when she entered the room where Jasmine was sitting. The interview was conducted one-on-one with only 2 chairs and 1 truth. At first, Jasmine didn't even look up. Her hands were clearly shaking as she fidgeted with her phone. Rasheeda crossed her arms and sat down carefully. "I was called here. Come on." Jasmine's eyes were already watering when she looked up. "Please know that I have no intention of hurting you before I speak." Rasheeda laughed. "That's what you've been doing since season 6. Jasmine inhaled deeply. "I didn't tell you about it. From Kirk, too?" Rasheeda's tone was stern as she leaned closer. "I have better things to do, girl, if this is about old texts or just another rehashed story." Then Jasmine took a folded envelope out of her purse. A printed photograph within. Rasheeda took it from her. Rasheeda accepted it, looked down, and stopped. It was a young child. The same gap to smile as Kirk Frost, curly hair, and deep brown eyes. Rasheeda blinked. "What is this?" The voice of Jasmine broke. "Zayden is that person. He is Kirk's second child and is 2 years old. It involves a different woman. No slap could ever be louder than the quiet." Rasheeda remained silent. She remained still. She gazed at the picture, her hands shaking. Rasheeda's voice trembled as she murmured, "You're lying." "I'm not." "Why no? Why would you bring to me?" Jasmine brushed away a tear. Jasmine pulled out her phone and opened a voice memo, and she hit play. "Hello, Jasmine. I hope isn't strange, but I've been trying to figure out how to say this for a while. My son's father is Kirk. I didn't know about you or Rasheeda until after. I think you deserve to know. He's denied it, but we did a private test, and it came back positive." Rasheeda stood up. No. Jasmine stood up as well. "I'm not trying to drag you, Rasheeda. I'm trying to show you the truth. This man's been lying to all of us." Cameras panned in on Rasheeda's face, showing every muscle tensing, her lip trembling, and her eyes full of anger and disbelief. "Oh, hell no," she yelled, "and this fool didn't even tell my daughter." Rasheeda broke. "Mama, I can't do this again." Jasmine attempted to say, "I just miss Charlene," pointed her finger. "You shut up right now. You should have told us when first started. Now you want to play savior after all the mess you caused." Rasheeda backed away, and Jasmine whispered, "I know he was still hiding something. I felt it. I just didn't want it to be true. I swear I thought it was a lie, too, until I saw the boy." Miss Charlene then turned to production, saying, "Y'all better cut these damn cameras right now." However, it was too late, as one of the producers, trying to be cunning, leaked a still image from the footage to a blog that same night, and by midnight, the internet was on fire. Headlines. Another. Jasmine reveals that Kirk has a second secret baby. Rasheeda's response surprises the crew. Miss Charlene loses it after Jasmine reveals the new child. It became physical behind the scenes. Fans say Rasheeda deserves better. Kirk is exposed once more. Comments flood Instagram. "I would have flipped that set. Jasmine is acting like she's doing this to help the girl." Goodbye. M. Shireen needs her own. Producers couldn't find Kirk, and his phone went straight to voicemail. His representative claimed that he was handling a private family matter, which is another way of saying that he was hiding something because Jasmine didn't stop with the photo. She had screenshots of Kirk sending $750 a month to the alleged second baby mama under a fictitious LLC name, and she even had a picture of Kirk holding the baby at a gas station indicator hood while wearing sunglasses. But it was clear as day. Rasheeda sat in her dressing room with producers, her cast head in her hands, and she muttered, "How many lies has he told me?" It was just a mistake. No one answered because there was nothing more to say. 2 days later, the network was in full crisis mode. Rasheeda had stopped taking calls, Jasmine had gone silent, Kirk was still missing, and producers were in a panic. This was supposed to be the post-reunion cool-down period, not a full-blown baby scandal. Then, out of the blue, a live notification appeared on Instagram at 6:02 p.m. Aya the Muse is now live with Jasmine Watkins. Thousands of people immediately jumped on because Maya was the purported mother of Kirk Frost's second child. Maya started, sitting in what appeared to be her living room with her son's toys strewn around. "I never wanted to be part of the drama." The one Jasmine said reached out in private now. She was going public. Jasmine nodded silently in the split screen. "I was just trying to raise my son in peace." Maya went on, but I yelled, "Enough is enough," as I noticed Kirk and Rasheeda all over TV, acting like a changed guy while ignoring my son. After she dropped the first bomb, the comment section exploded. Kirk is the father, according to the results of our private paternity test, which came back 99.9% positive. Jasmine covered her lips. Jasmine stared at the screen in disbelief as she said, "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "I tried," she said, pulling out a folder on camera and showing the actual paternity results. "New way. We need to see the paperwork, sis. Kirk is out here planting babies like it's gardening season. Not to hide, kids." Then came the video that rocked supporters to their core. Aya played a voice memo that purportedly showed Kirk talking to her. I messaged Rasheeda months ago as well, but she never replied, so I assumed she was just protecting herself. "Look, this is how it goes. Rasheeda must not know. We'll look after the boy. Keep it low, please." Rasheeda was watching from her phone in her bedroom by herself when the voice note played. Her heart fell, was proof, not a rumor, and the worst part was that she recognized the tone and the plea. Kirk had said nearly the same words when the Jasmine drama played out years ago. The voice was obviously guilty, familiar, and tired of hiding. TMZ wasted no time in revealing that Kirk Frost was hiding after the second baby was confirmed. Rasheeda was devastated. Sources say that by midnight the scandal was everywhere. Shaydoom Hollywood unlocked Baller Alert, and even Thevin the News picked it up. Back to IG. Maya and Jasmine's live was reaching over 100K viewers when the pain struck differently. Kirk finally appeared, not with a post or a statement, but seen by paparazzi leaving a lawyer's office in downtown Atlanta. He pulled up a low hoodie. "I'm not proud of how I got into Rasheeda's life, but I can't let another woman suffer in silence the way I did." Maya whispered a line that would go viral. Kirk told me he was done with drama, but I could tell by the reactions on social media that he hadn't changed. Rasheeda needs to leave and take the brand with her. Enough. Jasmine Loki did the right thing this time. I'm shocked. VH1 needs to make a whole episode based just on that live. Mona Scott Young backstage at VH1, and the executive producers were astonished. They didn't even have to do anything. But Rasheeda wasn't interested in cameras anymore, and she told producers bluntly, "Y'all are not going to milk my pain this time." For them, it was all about hitting the record button, the paternity test, the leaked phone calls, the live, the dramatic collapse. The strain was on Kirk, and time was running out. Part 2 ends on a cliffhanger. Producers eventually get a hold of Kirk. Kirk wants to say something. He says it to my face on camera without any edits. Or I walk away from this franchise for good. He consents to film, but there's a catch. I want to talk. 2. Rasheeda. 1. No producers. No Jasmine. No Jasmine. There's a situation brewing post on YC. Executives have confirmed that this new rollout was purposefully provocative. Do not prioritize their tracks on flagship playlists until further notice. The implication: there was a conscious attempt to prevent Shaw and Kendrick's song from making it to the playlist rotation because it angered Young Money's internal alliances and the fans, who weren't having it. Within hours, the hashtag protects began trending all over the world, and the Cloud TV channel released a live analysis, describing it as the most orchestrated attempt at soft censorship. Even YouTube flagged fan-uploaded videos with limited monetization, and Apple Music reclassified the live clip as performance art, making it ineligible for editorial promotion. It was obvious that someone was trying to shut down the movement, but instead of doing so, it backfired. The fan base exploded, and TikTok creators started breaking down every frame of the performance, turning it into a viral anthem for artistic rebellion. One user wrote, "When the machine fears you, that's how you know you're speaking truth." The first significant twist follows Kendrick and SZA shaking the table, with days following the NYC performance. I watched the kingdom fold behind a curtain of applause before Shaw's voice went low. But they forgot I never needed a ghost to write how I feel. A leaked studio snippet of a song that is allegedly part of a follow-up record called Fall from Grace surfaced online, and this time, names were dropped. Fans immediately began to speculate. Was Kendrick calling Nicki a manufactured queen? Was SZA making fun of Drake's alleged ghostwriting past? One thing was obvious. This was personal. Posted a tweet that many people think was a sub. Drake, you liked a tweet that said, "Some people drop albums. You all enjoy a trendy sermon until the spirit bites back." Others sacrifice performances to gain influence, but no straight answer, and now that silence is more akin to shock than strategy. Reddit threads with thousands of upvotes are now calling this the official collapse of Young Money's stronghold, while TikTok trends like hashtag YMCO and hashtag sec.takeover are garnering millions of views. And podcasts and YouTube channels are releasing breakdowns every day. The problem is that Kendrick and SZA didn't just target their peers, they targeted a system. The live performance, the lyrics, the leaks, the suppression, the rebellion, and the fans are locked in. Kendrick and Shaw are being compared to the new spiritual revolutionaries in hip-hop because it wasn't just a moment. It was a pivot in power, a passing of the torch with flames licking the throne, and yet, just when we thought it couldn't get any more intense, a new anonymous post appeared on an insider account with over 400K followers. A certain queen is preparing her return, but this time she's not coming to play nice. Be ready for a broadcast. That'll make the VMAs look like a TED Talk. Could this be Nicki's response? Is Drake working on a counter-project, or is this the start of a full-fledged legacy war? The story took a wild turn late last night when a mysterious countdown appeared on SZA's website. Fans went crazy when they saw the word closure appear beneath a image, a black screen, and glowing red numbers. Reddit theorists speculated that it was the official release date for the studio version of Legacy Dust, while others thought it might be a series of short films exposing the cracks in hip-hop royalty, fame, politics, and personal betrayals. However, it seemed as though the universe was listening. Nicki Minaj finally broke her silence, and Queen Radio went live on her YouTube channel, and she didn't mince words. Within 5 minutes, Nicki addressed the elephant in the room. "I heard the whispers. I saw the cut from the cloth that your verses imitate, but forget who made the blueprint for Confessions. Cut from the cloth that your verses imitate, and the only queen left checks the dinner plate." The barbs went crazy, and Nicki had returned to the battlefield in a matter of minutes. Then she said the line that sent shockwaves across every platform, "I am the dynasty, sweetheart." SZA can sell vibes, Kendrick can sell think pieces, but I built an army, and y'all are just trying to light candles in a hurricane. Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube were inundated with clips of her show, and even critics who had been applauding her began to worry. Wait, is Nicki about to reverse this entire narrative back in her favor? But then Kendrick responded, and not with a tweet, not with a diss track, but with a photo, a black and white Polaroid. It showed a dinner table. Empty chairs. One crown placed. Upside down. Caption: "Royalty isn't inherited. It's earned in silence." The internet melted. Was he calling her out directly? Was he saying her reign is over and saying, "Oh, she jumped in too"? She shared Kendrick's work again. The Dove fans took a picture with a single emoji to mean that SCA was at peace, despite dragging thrones and burning bridges at the same time. However, behind the scenes, something even more significant was going on. Late last night, a massive leak occurred on a Discord server, purportedly from an engineer connected to both artists' teams. The leak contained a document called GNX Closure Visual Schedule Final, and what it revealed was astounding: a 3-part visual project featuring Kendrick and SZA, ACH video aimed at a different aspect of the industry. Art 1. Idols and Illusions. Part 2. Ghost Crowns. Part 3. What's left when it ends the dates. All of this pointed to a global live stream premiere on the day of the website countdown. What's even more bizarre is that there was an alleged voice memo within the leak. The file with Kendrick saying in it read, "We're not making diss tracks, we're making documentaries wrapped in rhythm. Let them respond with bars on the wheel. Respond with truth." This wasn't a feud, it was a creative war, a new format, a new frontier, and Kendrick and SCA were ready to burn down the old game to build a new one. Meanwhile, internal label chatter began to spill out. Universal Music allegedly held an emergency PR meeting about how to position Nicki and Drake without directly responding to the controversy. According to Republic Records insiders, Drake is not happy with the way things are going, and he believes that Kendrick and SCA set this up months ago. Then came the most outrageous turn of all, a private listening party. This isn't just about lyrics anymore. It's about legacy, control, and who gets to stand on the mountain when the storm clears. Storm clears. Music, because after years of dominating the charts, making headlines, and being worshipped as the blueprint, Drake and Des are about to form new alliances to protect their legacy. The invitation was leaked not for a new Drake album, but for a surprise collaboration between Nicki and Travis Scott. Yep. The invitation sent to 2 VIP influencers and executives reads, "It's time to reframe power." The culture didn't simply respond to this Kendrick and say, "A V's Young Money moment." Instead, they are facing an uprising that is rewriting their throne rather than chasing it. The most absurd part is that the war isn't over yet. It's just getting started. Within minutes of Kendrick's eerie photo response and Nicki's Queen Radio broadcast, the internet exploded, with fans, artists, blogs, and critics all taking sides. This was no longer just a beef. It was a generational conflict. Let's start with Twitter X, which became a virtual battlefield overnight, with Kendrick and the hashtags #CrownTheft and #YoungYufalof. #ClosureCount, #ZA trending globally, and one viral post reading. Young Money's Glass Palace just had its flaws revealed by Kendrick and SCA. And Nicki, she's screaming from the throne while it's crumbling. Another Drake built an empire off moods. Kendrick built one off movements. There's a difference. Meanwhile, the Barbs weren't staying quiet. Nicki's army came in swinging, flooding Kendrick's and SZA's posts with emojis, accusing them of being opportunistic, clout-chasing, and jealous of Young Money's legacy. But even within the Barbs community, cracks began to form. One longtime Nicki fan tweeted, "Love her to death, but if Kendrick and SCA are exposing the fraud in the industry, it's crumbling. We must start over." With 57K likes, thousands of quote tweets, and even Nickiing to acknowledge it, perhaps the times are truly changing. Over on Reddit, deep dive threads broke down the timeline. Kendrick warned us in the Heart Part 5. SC's Grammy speech was the first shot. Drake fell off when he stopped being hungry. Nicki couldn't pass the torch, so Kendrick and SZA snatched it. The top comment said it best. This isn't just Kendrick versus Drake. This isn't Shaw versus Nicki. This is art versus algorithm. Legacy versus illusion. TikTok took it to another level. Creators reenacted the Legacy Dust performance. Some even staged fake Kendrick x SCA press conferences using AI voices, pulling in millions of views in just hours. Trending TikTok captions. The world listened, and don't think the industry elites were keeping quiet. The Breakfast Club released an emergency episode titled, "Has the Young Money Era Finally Ended? What Happens When Truth Gets a Microphone?" The throne was empty when Essa and Kendrick entered. Nicki screamed and Kendrick whispered. "Let's be honest," Charlemagne said. When Kendrick entered with SSC, the entire room trembled. This wasn't a publicity gimmick. This was a change in culture. Nicki's response was forceful, but you could sense the desperation behind it. Angela Ye continued. Over at Hot 97. You can tell the change is genuine when people begin to doubt the people they formerly worshipped. The biggest reaction came from J. Cole. Yes, he posted a black screen to Instagram stories with 3 dots, and in the caption, "I see it loud and clear." Fans went crazy. Was that support for Kendrick? Was Cole planning to join the conversation, or was he calling both sides out? Lil Wayne, Silent Drake, and Jay-Z were spotted backstage at the NYC show, but the Rock Nation camp had no comment. In the meantime, the labels are sweating. According to insider reports, major DSPs are reconsidering playlist positioning for all 4 artists. Streaming data shows legacy dust even without a studio release, bringing in millions of fan-made uploads that all hit the algorithm. On top of that, a secret email leaked from an Atlantic Records representative stated that the streets are reacting to Kendrick and Sia with religious intensity. Translation: damage control is officially underway because it's no longer about who sells more. Era ruled with power, influence, and numbers, but Kendrick and SZA are bringing something even heavier: proof, perspective, and poetic vengeance. Now, we have to wait 6 days until the industry either regains its illusion or watches it burn live. The thrones are shaking now because Kendrick Lamar and SZA didn't just release a song or throw subs. They declared war on a legacy created by the gay and right gods. Drake and Nicki have ruled for more than 10 years, changing music, breaking records, and building empires, but now they are being challenged not with clout, but with clarity, not with charts, but with culture. The clock is ticking down to closure, and when 11 to 11 hits, we'll either see a revolution or a last-ditch battle to maintain the illusion. If you are ready for the next generation to take the throne, share this video and subscribe if you know that this story is far from over. Because on November 11th, the world will witness something that no label strategy or PR stunt can contain, and no algorithm can contain Kendrick and SZA's statement that they don't want the throne, they want the truth. If you believe that this is the last move Drake and Nicki will make, then the game will never be the same again. Once more, the same.